All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Horror Comedy Hangout podcast. My name is Chris.
I'm Jess.
And we have two very special guests, two very special friends of ours.
Yes, we do.
They have a new project out that's just going to blow your mind. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how they make Hollywood-looking films on this little budget with small crew. So stick with us. We have two special guests with us. We have Albert Gonzalez and we have Mary Toyama with us from Fierce Orchid Productions. Welcome to the show. Welcome. Yay. Thank you for joining us.
Finally.
Yes, finally.
I know. Only took another hour to get it done.
Yes, I knew Albert could figure it out. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Just plug it in, Albert. That's all you have to do. Plug it into the wall.
That's right. That's my
resetting it.
That's my extent to, hey, is it plugged in? Yes. So we have a little tradition here at the Horror Hangout Comedy Podcast, and it's always bring your favorite drink. We like to celebrate the people that we have on. I have mine, and she has hers. And congratulations to your new film out there. They have their drinks up and ready to go too. Woo. Everybody out there watching as well, please grab your favorite drink. Doesn't have to be alcoholic. It can be non-alcoholic, and enjoy our podcast.
All right.
Let's
get into it.
Yes. So welcome, guys. How are we doing tonight?
Good.
All right.
How are you guys?
We're good.
Hanging out.
Yeah. So I met Mary first, and it's been a few years, right? We've known each other for a little while now. Did we?
Yeah, about 5 years.
5 years? Did we meet on Teachers Lounge, the comedy pilot, or was it before that?
Yes.
That's where we met.
No, before that.
Before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before that.
That I figured it was before that, but I know it's been a little. It just all runs together when you're doing so much stuff together. But that's when I remember you and I was doing a thing, and then I was like, I have to have Mary on because Mary acts and directs and writes and everything like that. Just like Albert. Albert, you do everything. You do writing, directing, a camera, editing, sound, post, everything. He is the full package. But the reason
one man
band.
Yeah,
Yes,
one-man band.
but that's what brings me to why I'm saying when I met Mary. I was doing my next project, and I remember we were doing Crocodile's mating scenes, and I said, and Mary's like, I have somebody that I just started working with, and if you trust me with him to do the next project, he won't let you down. And he surely did not. And he made an amazing project for me. But you've been doing a lot of projects, getting your production company up and going. And you have a new film out now called Pumpkin. And it just came out and premiered at the OIF Film Festival here. No, this is Tampa.
Tampa.
TIF in Tampa.
Yeah, TIFF.
Just the other a couple weeks ago, and it did very well, right?
Yeah, you guys won an award, correct?
You won one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, oh.
No.
7?
Yeah, I think we won 7 from
7.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's amazing. Congratulations on
Yes.
that. So
Thank you.
what is Pumpkin? What is that one?
Yes, tell us all about that.
Tell us about this amazing film.
No,
You
my
tell
job. So Pumpkin's pretty much it's like a psychological sci-fi kind of horror
Okay.
where you wake up with this girl at a diner, and this strange man who sounds like a Southern Baptist preacher comes in and starts talking to her like he's known her forever, and she doesn't get it, and then you kind of find out that she's hiding a little bit of a dark secret.
Yes.
And the film is very like mental a little bit for the first half, and the second half it kind of like just kicks gears and kind of holds barred, like just
Right.
100% speed from the second half on. And it's kind of funny because that came out of necessity. Like,
So
working with our location.
Oh, how the ending was.
Yeah.
Oh.
Interesting.
So I mean, that's indie filmmaking, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yes, right. Locations, a lot of things dictate how that film is going to go.
Yeah.
Just because it's an indie film. you have a writing partner, correct, Albert, that you write with?
Yes, Ryan McDonald.
Ryan McDonald, and you wrote this
he's
with
been-
him?
Yes, yeah. All our films, me and Ryan write.
Okay.
I've been writing with Ryan for almost 16 years now,
Wow.
Holy cow.
and so
A long
yeah,
time.
very long time.
Very long time.
So he's my go-to. We keep each other in check, and we have similar tastes, and then enough unsimilarities to kind
To make it exciting, right?
of like reel it in and make something cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
What started this one? What was the catalyst to Pumpkin?
What was it?
The Catalyst?
Yeah.
I think we just wanted to do something one
Yeah.
more time for YF before we move on to do other things.
Well, yeah, kind of.
And we really wanted to test the Tampa market and see what kind of talent we actually could find out there.
Okay.
And the only way for us to do that is actually to show them what we can do
Yeah.
and what we can produce so they could trust us that we do have the ability to make, good indie films.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was also kind of like a technical test too.
Yeah.
Because we usually when we do like a festival like OIF or TIFF or something like that, it's because we want to test to see
Right.
what something would look like on the big screen. And so we were talking because we had just shot Drummer,
Mm-hmm.
which is an upcoming short that we're releasing. That's an action short. And
Okay.
then we were talking about cinematic like dolly work and stuff like that, but how can we do it with the way we run things, which is very handheld.
Mhm.
And so we kind of bought a bunch of gear, and we were like, well, let's see how cool we can make it look and how cinematic we can actually go if we were like firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so Pumpkin kind of came out of like that, like, okay, let me do something cool that's a test. And then
Okay.
the whole story came out of it.
And I think it's great too when you start entering stuff into local film markets, and because especially in your test mode, and it's great to see how
Mhm.
people are going to react to it. So it's like you can start
Yeah.
feeding off of like, okay, I did do it in the right direction, or maybe this was a total mistake. Let's go back and redo it and make it better.
Mhm.
But I think like the small time that I got to work with you on Chris's film, like I don't think there's anything bad you could possibly touch, either one of you. Like every time I think I talk about you two, I'm like, oh wait, but Albert and Mary, la 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 la. So like big kudos. If I know I'm gonna watch one of your films, I'm like, thank God.
Right. Right. So
yeah, and that,
go ahead. Go ahead, Albert.
yeah, that's kind of the shtick. Like if we don't want to watch it,
Yeah.
we wouldn't
nobody-
make it.
yeah, nobody
Like,
else
That's kind of the way
will.
we are. Like we
Right.
have full projects that we like scrapped
Oh yeah.
completely just because we didn't think something was up to snuff.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh,
like,
okay.
the way
Interesting.
we watch films, and so it's like it's interesting that we come off like that, which is nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We have films we've archived.
Yeah, a lot.
Just they just weren't working, right? They just weren't.
No.
No.
So
Well, I think it's very specific the way each one of us like look at what cinematic is, and him being so technical and me just kind of like as a viewer.
Mm.
Right.
You know, like and then we have, and his wife actually is amazing as a tester. She really gives us great feedback and like where we're going wrong, and if it's actually going to like come across as the way we want it to come
Mhm.
across.
Right.
And
Yeah.
she's amazing. Like she just did it again a couple weeks ago
Yeah.
with Drummer, and we both were like teetering. We're like, should we do it in color? Should we do it in black and white? And we both love the color, and we also love the black and white. I'm like, let's ask your wife. Let's see what she
yeah, what
says.
she thinks. Yeah.
Behold, the silent fourth partner.
Yeah.
The silent part
So
first, yeah.
she broke the center, and so we're like, all right, we're going black and white on this.
Oh, okay. That's
nice.
cool.
I'm talking to you about something like doing something in black and white.
Yes, we have talked about them in the past as well.
Yeah. Can't wait to show this on.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one too. So with, like you were saying, it's usually something you're testing. Were you testing because you're now shooting on the FX3, right? Is that what you're shooting?
No, actually, I'm shooting on a Sigma FP.
Sigma FP. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so it's the same Sony
There's-
sensor, full frame sensor.
Okay.
Just a little older.
Okay.
So
and when you were
it's
using
just
that
I
on
bought it-
Pumpkin, correct?
Yeah, Pumpkin.
Okay.
Pumpkin is what was the powerhouse, and
Yeah.
then we also used it on. Well, we haven't released anything that we've used it on yet.
No.
Just
Yeah,
that one?
no, yeah, we haven't released it.
Okay.
yet. We've used it on 3 films technically. 2 are still in production, and then this one was the one that was the quickest to get out.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
One was scrapped. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's the thing is like, I thought it was that one, but the other one, and any camera, I feel like you get your hands on, you're making it look amazing anyway. But the look of Pumpkin was amazing. I just
Yeah.
I mean, you were shooting in a diner against the glass, against the background that's dark out. I mean, you were
working with a lot.
you were working with a lot there. I thought.
Yeah, it's all natural light. We didn't use any key lights.
Yeah.
Really?
Really?
We just used the lighting in the diner. Yeah.
Lighting in the diner.
So the way I shoot is it's kind of illegal in like in like the cinema world. Like a lot of people will have a key light and they try to do like negative fill and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm really big on working on what the environment has because I do a lot of work in post. So I try to get as flat and as dialed in a contrasty image as I can, and then everything else is after the fact. And so like if I want to make a character pop or I want to do this or I want to do that, I'm doing all that in post. So I'm adding like more exposure to one side to mimic a key light and things like that because we're moving so fast.
Gotcha.
So I do a lot of post work.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
tremendous amount.
So when I made you put up lights for Unperfect, you're like, ah. So
Yeah, I was losing my mind.
Yeah, and I wonder who made it pitch black in the room.
yeah,
I don't know either.
Yeah, production assistant here. Production design.
I was like,
Each
Albert.
film's kind of different though.
I was like, Albert, I need you to go away. I got you. I know what you need. Go away and come back in 10 minutes. Just give me some damn clips. You come back 10 minutes. I want her next.
That's when we were outside putting up the
Yeah, because we started out
covering the window.
outside, and I was like half hung out the window, and I was like, this ain't gonna
Yeah.
work. We're gonna have to come inside.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Albert, go away. 10 minutes, you need to come back. Give me some clips and come back. And it worked. I made it work in 10 minutes, and we were good to go again.
You know, it's kind of funny because like I don't mind working with lights. Like I like working with lights and stuff
Okay.
like that. But then like when I do my own stuff, I just have her with like one light if I need just a little bit more source
Yeah.
on like a boom pole, just like running around following me like a lunatic.
Yeah,
Right.
and I
Like-
wish we could release Artemis because we did that a lot on Artemis. And one of the scene that we did like downtown on top of the garage. Remember?
Yeah, a
It was
garage and a
just one-
skyscraper.
Literally me and a boom, like I had a boom pole with a light and I'm running around right behind him, just lighting a certain section. You know, he's like, just hold it right there. So, but it makes it easier for us to move when
Yes.
we don't have, you know, all these equipment that we have to lug around or people
That's
to
it.
tell, hey, do this and do that. And, you know, it's a little bit more controlled.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can
bring what
shoot
you got.
faster. Shoot
Yeah.
a lot faster with that
Yeah.
one. So yes, so you
Yeah.
use that camera, natural light.
Mhm.
You cast some amazing actors in Pumpkin as well. The performances were
Incredible.
incredible. I think
Yeah.
that was one of Chuck's best performances.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
were both of you directing that, or was it just
It's mostly Albert.
mostly
yeah.
Albert? Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. On this one, yeah. Usually we got a coder.
Co-direct, right?
Or like she'll help me with the production aspect of it, and then when we're there shooting, like
On the second eye.
she's like the second eyes. So like if I feel like something's off, I'll run right to her and be like, hey, what do we think? Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? But she keeps me in check.
Do you guys get in any disagreements? Was there any disagreements on that one when you were doing Pumpkin?
No,
You
actually,
guys worked pretty.
We added something
we added something, yeah, but
at
we
the end, but we ended up scrapping it anyways.
we really disagree, which is the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Like she trusts me enough to know that my brain is fast enough to figure out, okay, what's gonna work and what's not gonna work.
Right.
And I have a lot of restraint in terms of like when I'm seeing something and it's just not kicking it, no matter how bad I want it, like I'll get rid of it, like right then and there. And so I think the openness, because we both we're talking about this film a lot before we even get to make
Yeah. So we do a lot of pre-pro,
Pre?
Yeah.
like a lot of pre-pro.
Yeah. I think
like,
that's very important to do that
Mhm.
for sure.
It is like the minute that we have the idea, we already have everything laid. Like we're starting to lay out
Right.
the whole thing
Yeah.
from like, and we work backwards also.
Okay.
So a lot of times, you know, we're re-engineering what's going to happen on set. That way we can predict what's going to happen on set
Yeah.
almost to the T.
Right.
And because a lot of times you don't have any control of the environment, but if you're prepared enough, then you can adjust really fast. And I think that's probably part of the reason why we're so quick with adjusting when things doesn't go right. Like example with Pumpkin, we couldn't find a location that we wanted. And we almost didn't make the film because of the location issue. And then Chris found the basement that we worked with. That wasn't how the script actually, you know, as far as the location wise, that's
Right.
not how the script was written the way you see it now.
Okay.
And
Yeah, it
as we all,
wasn't
So
in-
you had to switch. You had to
it
change it up.
wasn't in the basement.
and as we all know, basements are hard to find in Florida.
Yeah.
So where was that shot
And
though?
this-
Like what part of Florida? Was it
Yeah.
in Orlando or Tampa or somewhere else?
No, that was in Tampa in some
Okay.
120-year-old cigar factory.
No way.
And they're also now fixing it, so the basement's gonna be done.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they had this like really dilapidated like basement, and it was like perfect, and now
Yeah.
they're fixing it. But they rented out as like little studio spaces
Oh,
for
okay.
Wait,
like
is that
seamstresses and photographers.
Is that the same place that Chris Applegate is in? As for his,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. He was showing us pictures of that place. That is an awesome
That's a
spot.
cool
Yeah, it's cool and it's
Yeah.
huge. So like there was so much to use on there, but that basement was like perfect. And we were actually looking at that basement for another film that we were gonna do.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait a minute, there's like a whole section on the back end that we could use and
Oh
do it
gosh.
for this film.
We
So-
could literally do 3 different scenes in
And you-
that basement.
Yeah, and you would think it's in different
And
places.
then
Wow.
you'd think different areas,
Yes, we can
different
always
places,
use a good
different
basement.
country.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
A good horror could be in a basement all the time.
Yes, definitely. Oh, girl, it's
Yeah.
There's certain
Yeah.
places I would not walk in.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, because originally the ending for Pumpkin was all supposed to take place in a diner. The whole thing.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah, it was never supposed to be that it's in her head. It was supposed to be that she, when he does the little countdown, she snaps and the part of her that's like a robot, like a weapon kicks in.
Right.
And then it was supposed to be these bloody like like we had it where she was dragging a kid across the table and slamming their head into a pole
dang.
and it was exploding. And then we were going to show the knife more predominant and she was going to like play with Crystal's head.
Mhm.
And like we had 2 other characters that were going to come in to be like agents that are trying to subdue her, and she like breaks their arms and like gets all bloody, and then
Gotcha.
the whole thing kind of plays out the way it is, but like it was never supposed to switch places.
Right.
Mm.
And then because we switched places, we were like, wait a minute, well, we need less people now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then we were like, wait, what if we just did it this way instead, where we don't kind of show the gore? It's kind of implied,
Right.
except for the gunshot,
Right.
Mhm.
because the gunshot is the one that I wanted to be like
That impact.
That was
in your
gory.
face.
Yeah. That
And
was
then
gory.
yeah, so the whole ending, the way it played out with her lifting him up and the tables moving and all that stuff, that's all there was a version of that originally, but it wasn't as pronounced. And so because we had to change the location, we sat on shots a lot more
Right.
to kind of tweak it up.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, so the whole ending of that movie is completely different than what's on the
Yeah.
script.
But it
Oh,
works.
I mean, we
It
did
still
that.
works.
We did
Yeah.
that
Still
all in
works.
one day.
Yeah. Yeah, all in one day.
That was all in one day. I think we started
The whole thing.
on the.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you add them all, it's like 8 hours.
Mhm.
We did that all in 8 hours. So 4
Wow.
hours at the diner, and then 4 hours in the basement.
Right.
In the basement, I think actually we ended up early.
Yeah, a lot earlier.
Yeah, a lot earlier.
Because we thought it was gonna take about 6, 7
Yeah.
hours with the stunts and everything.
Hmm.
And
See,
Yeah, we got it.
people
down.
out there, you can do it. You
Mhm.
can do
You
it.
can do it
Mhm.
You can do it
quick,
quickly
fast, and cheap.
and good.
Seriously.
Uh,
Yeah,
So
just gotta be creative, man.
yes, yeah, you gotta have that, I guess. So
You just gotta have Albert, Mary, and Chris and I.
That's true too.
I run security.
And have
I'm
Albert.
emotional support, human. I hang curtains for Albert in 10 minutes. I go get food. I run to Lowe's.
Yeah.
I boss
Oh,
people
that's
around.
right.
you need one of those
The
people. That's
Lowe's
the thing.
running around.
You
The
always-
Lowe's running. I just need the credit card. Let me go.
yes.
That's right.
That's
Uh,
too funny.
I've seen a lot of your films, and do you like this one? Actually has, like you said, has some action in it. Do you like sticking with the action? Because Albert, you have the stunt background as well, correct? Or do you like
Yeah.
more the horror? What do you
what's the
prefer to?
genre you want to live?
For,
Well, I think what we like to do. Well, we said it really early on.
Yeah.
Like we like blending 2 genres together. Like
Oh,
that's
okay.
our big thing. It's
Okay.
like everything's always a double.
Right.
So we're always gonna have some sort of action or sci-fi element, and that's only because not only is it something that I'm comfortable in my wheelhouse, that's where a lot of my like cinematic education comes from early on. So there's a lot of films that I love and that last a long time, and they have some little tidbit of some sort of action in there. But we said right away like we wanted it to come off as one way and then have a 180 always. And so all our films have a 180. So like the first Bliss is kind of just like it's like a silent film / action. You know what I'm saying? Like a little bit action horror.
Right.
But then you have like Pumpkin, where Pumpkin looks like action and then it becomes a comedy. And then you have
You mean Piper?
I'm sorry, Piper.
Yeah.
And then you have Nell, which looks like a drama and then it becomes a horror. And
Yeah.
then same thing with Pumpkin. Pumpkin looks like a drama thriller, and then all of a sudden it shifts into like a sci-fi action kind of piece. So we've got like, we like blending, especially when I write, like I like blending two different genres. And so the movies that have always had real big impact on me have that kind of trope.
Gotcha.
And so it just comes natural. And not only is it easy, it's not that it's easy to write, but
It comes
it
natural
gives
to
me a
you.
lot more room to play with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it
I could
does.
do a drama and I could do like a family, like series family movie, but then all of a sudden like something impactful happens and it helps me shift it around.
Shift it around.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think it also, like, especially being me more of a viewer, I think it also helps keep the audience engaged better too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Instead of just keep going down that road and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, now we're going here. And then it, like, I'm
Yeah.
hooked all over again. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And same thing like with a lot of films, like some of my favorite films like Fight Club. Everybody's like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
Fight Club's like an action kind of drama, but in reality it's like a psychological thriller
Yep.
Right.
mixed in with a little bit of action. There's not really a whole lot of action in Fight Club.
No.
And there's like 12 minutes out of the whole
move
2-hour movie.
Right.
And so it's like, and that's kind of what we like to do. We like to sprinkle stuff in so when it actually hits, it's impactful.
But you're really good with the action. If you your films, I mean, because you see a lot of these indie films and it's like the action scenes are just like, you know, wah, wah, yeah, and misses and you know, all that kind of stuff, and it's just, you know, it's not impactful,
Yeah.
and you really go for broke on all those in it.
Well, it's Albert. He's gonna be
And
great.
we do a lot of, like, again, with the pre-pro with action films, like when he works with the actors on action, they actually have done practice like 3 or 4 times of
Right.
the particular scene. So they've memorized their, you know, their moves and where they need to land, because, and then how to hit, because we know ahead of time. And so he's already shooting them while they're practicing, so he knows where he needs to move. So we're not wasting our time while we're on set. So again, like I stress like pre-pro so much because it's really needed when it comes to something like this and you're an indie film and you don't have a lot of time and a lot of in places. So you want to spend as much time as you can on pre-pro. So when you get onto set and you're shooting, you just shoot fast.
And then on top of that, like action film, like when you're shooting action, a lot of people are afraid to shoot it.
Yeah.
Like they think they got to get everything in the box.
Right.
And so like a lot of people, like especially indie filmmakers, they get really limited because they start going into wides and they start getting afraid to like do close-ups, and then like 90% of action is like in the edit part of it. And so you have to make sure you get the shots that you want and then understand how you're going to piece it together. So the pre-pro that we do, we end up having like the film shot like twice essentially. So all the action scenes have like a rough draft, and then they have like, okay, this is pretty much what it's going to be day of. And then day of, all that goes out the window and we just keep the key shots and then start messing around with it. But
Right.
you really got to get like intimate with it. You have to treat the action sequences like you would like close-up dialogues. Like you get closer when you
okay.
want something to be more impactful.
I like that.
And you got to move the camera. Like a lot of people don't move the camera in action. So it's like they stay still and they do a dolly in or dolly out.
Yeah, that's where you.
They just do a pan follow, and that's not how action works. Like action's really dynamic. So you got to almost treat the camera as like another actor in it.
Right, getting hit
With
and
the other.
getting hit and moving and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
you
makes
gotta move it.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That's I love it. I mean, and your films just look so Hollywood. I hate the word Hollywood cinematic, but it's just they look so amazing. And when I tell people how many crew we had or what we did, and what you've done on these, it's
They're
just
like, what?
it blows their mind that
You can do it.
you can do it with that.
Like Pumpkin, I think we've had the most actors. Usually we work with.
Yeah, it's usually smaller. That was more actors than
Yeah,
usual.
I think that's the most we've used in our films.
And the only reason why we needed it is because they were in every shot.
Yeah.
Right.
Because of the camera. So
Camera,
like,
the
that's
camera
the
movement,
only reason why they were there.
But usually it's just me and him. And this one, we were lucky enough we found somebody to do the sound, so I could be free to do other things.
Right.
Yeah.
But usually I'm doing the sound and he just does the camera.
Right. And what I'm getting from this is pre-pro. So I'm actually kind of listening as a filmmaker too, because I'm still learning a lot. And
Yeah.
I feel like since I've met Albert, I've changed a lot of my ways
Mm-hmm.
and thinking for the
Yeah.
good, not for bad, not for bad,
Same.
all good.
Me too.
Yeah, that's right. So you know, I feel like I've always gone in like, yes, I got to pre-pro a lot, but I don't think I do as much or enough as you guys do. And I think that's the key. This is a huge key to, your
Yeah.
success in these films and why they do so well and why they look
Look
so
amazing.
good.
Yeah.
You've
We
planned out
we
so much.
talk so much before we even think of filming.
Right.
Like, look, God, we've gobs of conversations that's probably lasted like 2 a.m. just because we want to make sure that we storyboard it properly, like, okay, what if this happens? Okay, well, we do this. What if this happens and we do this? What if this happens? We do this.
But you gotta be a little realistic with pre-pro though, because like that works for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very, very blessed in the fact that I got the way I got my film education was kind of doing a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which is good.
Working for that studio, I learned a lot because I just wanted to learn.
Right.
I wanted to absorb it. And then the things that really stuck out to me, I kind of gravitated towards. But like realistically, like even pre-pro can get out of hand. Like it works really well for us because I already have the film storyboarded in my head because I just wrote the dang thing and I'm going to shoot it and I'm going to edit it. So I can cut corners, but like most filmmakers don't have that. They're the director or they're the writer and director, but then they get a cinematographer and then they get a sound guy and then they get an editor. And so like when it comes to the pre-pro, like I really suggest like directors like just use their phone and like, hey, let's have the actors act and I'll just film it and kind of get a rough draft. So when you show it to the cinematographer and you show it to your editor, you can speed that process along and get kind of what you
That
want
makes sense.
out of it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And so like, yeah, pre-pro for us is probably takes the longest. Like we'll have 4 weeks in total for a film. Shooting it's only a day and a half. The other 3 weeks and 6 days are like just pre-pro, like just us working with the actors, doing actor theater and around me filming it with a little phone and just seeing what I want. So that way I know like day of, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is where we're going. This is where we're going to play everything out. And it moves just super quick.
And I think that,
But we get
sorry, go ahead, Mary.
the actors involved. We get the actors involved quite a bit too. So they've got a lot of input in their, what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So like Chuck can tell you, like we ask him a lot, like, hey, what do you think of your, your role and how would you play it out? And same with Holland, because we've worked with both of them at least 3 times now. And would they actually, you did a test with them, like before we even decided that we were going to use them, because we wanted to see how they actually look on camera for this particular role. And they both killed it.
Right.
And I think it's
I had to stop looking, and I said, okay, fine, Chuck can have it, and Howland can do it.
But I think it's also like that on-screen chemistry, whether it's, anything, just working with somebody else, you have to have that some type of energy or chemistry together too, to make the whole scene work or the whole film work or whatever. Cause it's, to me, if you don't have that, like you just don't have it.
Oh yeah. There was like, we didn't really get a chance to have both of them in the same room, but because we've worked with them before, so we kind of could see it. But Holland actually made a point one time. I was talking to her and she's like, that this was a very difficult role that she took on, because it's a lot of emotions, because she's not talking.
She's one line.
A lot of it's interaction.
Yeah.
And she said that she had to really dig inside, and it was very difficult for her. If she didn't know the person, if she didn't have that chemistry with Chuck, she would have had a hardest time trying to deliver.
Yeah.
And it's nice that she said, I felt safe enough to where I could actually pull that off with somebody like Chuck.
Right.
Yeah. Because she basically gave him nothing to work with as far as like
not
dialogue.
lines.
As far as dialogue goes. But it was like he was having to read everything in her face or her body movements. And then the one line she did give him, it was like, okay, you've got to really, both people had to deliver in that. So like I was just waiting. I was like, is she going to say anything? And when she did, I was like, ooh.
That's all. She's got one line.
Yeah.
One line. I was like, all right, girl.
Right.
One line.
It's not even a line.
No.
It's a word.
It's a word. It's not really a line. Absolutely not.
No.
But you know what? She won best lead actress on that one. So
Dang.
So there goes to show you, right?
Yeah.
That
One
goes to show
word
you.
works.
Yeah, she did
Yep.
really good.
She did really good, and Chuck won also for best,
Best
lead.
lead one, yeah, yeah. They
Nice.
both did amazing in that film.
Yep.
So, do you find it? This is a question. Maybe this is just a selfish question for me, but do you find it easier that it's just the two of you? Like, Albert, you're doing everything, the writing, and you two are directing, and then you're doing the camera, and then you're doing post. Does that find it easier that you're not conflicting with anybody besides Mary? If there is a conflict, like, if I bring a
yeah.
cinematographer on, and I bring an editor on, and I bring a sound person, then I'm having to work with all those people, and maybe not see my vision as much as you see it, because you guys have talked so much about it. So do you feel like that works better for you guys like that?
So for our stuff, yes. When I'm working on other people's stuff, no.
No.
So like, for instance, like yours, like I liked working with you on Unperfect because like we could talk about it, right?
Right.
And I think what makes it difficult is people who aren't willing to like converse and actually like see a different perspective.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like you get those directors that are hard locked into like what they want, and it's like, okay, cool, but you don't have the budget for this.
Right.
So how do we work
Work
within it, right? Or that shot that you did kind of doesn't make sense. And
Right.
like with us, we're really critical of our own work. And so like what makes it difficult to me working with multiple people is when you can't be critical of something. So like if I would love for somebody to say, yo, that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense, right? And I go, oh crap, it doesn't. And I remove it. Like my wife does it to me all the time. That's why she's our barometer for
Right.
everything. She'd be like, I don't get this. That was kind of stupid to have that. And I'm like, if she's thinking that, how many other people
People are
are gonna
thinking
And that's
that,
what I
right.
She doesn't
tell
even know
you
anything
about
it.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Like when I read his scripts, I'm like, what? Explain this to
and
me.
and like as a filmmaker, you want to tell a story, right? And you want to like
Right.
make it have an impact, and you want it to be your story, and you feel it, and you want it to be like your thing, your baby, right? But what you don't realize is like your baby also has to be understood by other people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, and so if something's goofy or off or loses somebody's interest, you're not telling a good story.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
it's no longer your baby now. Now it's
Yeah.
just a failed baby. And so like you don't
want
want
a
it
failed
to
baby.
happen. Like
No,
you don't
Phil.
want that baby to fail. You want it to be like, hey, successful. So like we work really well together because once it's out of filming and into post production, like I'm in my own little echo chamber. Like she doesn't hear from me for like 3 weeks, and then I'm like,
Right.
all right, I got a rough draft, and then I'm showing her, and then we discuss it, and then we go back into it. But working with just me and her definitely makes it way easier.
Yeah.
Like we can get twice as much done with 10 times the amount of quality just working together than if I were to have an entire crew. Because the thing I can't stand that stifles creativity to me is delays.
Right.
So like on a
Okay.
set, waiting for somebody to get ready and waiting for this and waiting for that and waiting for the sound guy and waiting for the lighting guy. And it's like, no, like these actors are, the thing we tend to forget as a filmmaker is like these actors are running off of what's in their head right at the moment.
Right.
So the longer you delay it, the colder they get, the
Mhm.
harder it is for them to do
Get
it. And
that.
that's when you're doing 15, 16 takes.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we do most of our stuff in like 2-3 takes tops.
Right.
Like, and we get it down packed. And that's because the actors are prepared and they don't have to sit and wait and worry.
Yeah.
And so
And you're moving.
Yeah.
I 100% on the local level, like just working with just who I know. So us two, and that's it. And then if I end up working with somebody that I do enjoy working with, whatever crew they bring, as long if they open an input, I try to give input on who to use
Right.
for that piece. There's my dog. But then but on a bigger set, like if I'm doing a feature film and we actually have like studio money budget, then that's a completely different ballgame.
Right.
Like,
Gotcha.
that's a
Yeah.
totally different world.
Yeah. That's something we have yet tested about.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna test that someday soon.
No.
I'm sure,
I
but-
see it coming because
Oh,
these films are amazing.
Yeah.
And like I said, they look Hollywood level.
Yeah.
With the two of you
it's been like
and the
that.
camera, and it just blows my mind.
Mhm.
We talked a lot about pre, but I wanted to just dive a minute into your post because I think that blew me away as well. How you work in post. Let's just take. You're like, I don't need any room tone. I'll build it myself. And you're
Oh,
like, I'll
yeah.
build this myself,
Yeah.
and I'll build this myself. And I was like, what? Like this is like,
Albert's like just a wonder. Like, what can you not do? That's what I need to know.
but so like, she's so funny.
I have to butter him up because if I pitch to him this movie one day that I need him to shoot and I want you to shoot and I will not settle for anybody else to shoot it.
Yeah, she's just gonna replay this
So
over and over.
I'm just
This
gonna be
video
like,
over.
remember
Remember when I said nice things about you?
when I hyped you up? If you don't say yes, then you're trash.
Oh wow,
No.
damn, that's a 180.
Yeah, that was quick. She's not much.
I might just say yes just to make it trash.
Yeah.
That's right.
I don't think you could make trash. I think it would still come out good.
Yeah, I don't think you could.
I've tried to make trash and it came out good.
Okay.
It's just so
I know,
bad.
it's just so bad.
Everybody was like, "This is really good," and I was like,
That should be your book that you write someday. I tried to make
Right?
trash and it came
I
out
tried
good.
to make trash and it came out
"It
amazing.
didn't work."
And it
It worked.
didn't work.
Womp womp. All right, go on. Go back.
All right, so post production.
Your
Focus,
post-
Chris.
Process is just amazing to me how you want to do so much in posts. And the joke is always like, don't fix it in post, do it on the set. But you turn that into like, nope, I'm going to do it there. It's the best place to do it.
Mhm.
How's that?
Kind of.
Where'd
Yeah. So
that come from?
it's weird. It's weird. So here's a common misconception that I think a lot of people have when it comes to actual like the films that they watch on like in studio. I'm not talking about TV, like because TV is a different ball game,
Right.
and that's where I think a lot of indie people kind of follow their way of filmmaking is on the TV side of things. But I don't think they realize how much you can save by categorizing, like compartmentalizing certain things into post, right? So like, I will never fix a shot in post. If something's messed up or broken, it stays broken.
Right.
Like that's because that's what you got. So we don't. When I say that line of like, yeah, don't leave anything for post, it's because I try to get as much in camera as I possibly can.
Mhm.
When it comes to sound, though, that's where the common misconception is. Everybody thinks that they've got room mics and they catch a whole room and they get every little sound, and then they go and they take that whole big sound file and they try to tweak it so the voices sound good, but then the background sounds trash, and they keep going back and forth, back and forth. And really, the way it's actually done on professional films is you get dialogue for sound, and they only get room tone so they can keep the dead air level even
Right.
for Foley. And then Foley actually recreates everything and isolates just the vocals. So when you hear somebody chewing a sandwich, or you hear them sliding something across the table, or even just rubbing their shirt, like that's a Foley artist doing that in an actual
Right.
film studio, like for an actual major production.
Gotcha.
And a lot of people are afraid of that. And like it's kind of weird because you'll add footsteps, but you won't add a shirt rustle.
Right. Right. I guess it doesn't make
So-
sense, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So like to me, it's one of those things where it's like the big thing that gets saved in post are the things that you don't have to worry about on set. So if all we're worried about is dialogue, I can care less what's going on set. If there's a band playing on the outside, if
Right.
oh we didn't get room tone, like I don't care about any of that because I'm literally going to take it and create a room
Mm.
after the fact.
Gotcha.
And so if I think I'm in a diner, I'm going to get sound samples from a diner. I'm going to look at a couple of websites that I know, like Epidemic Sound
Yep.
has like amazing stuff
Yep,
from
they got
like
good
individual people. And I'll take something from there, or I'll take my recorder a different day and I'll go and I'll sit in a diner and I'll just record it
Yeah.
and get all the sound from
Okay.
there. And
That's
like
cool.
A free way to do it.
the curation part is what makes it sound cinematic. And to me, it's like, if I could do it in post and build exactly what I want,
Why not do that?
and get it to sound the quality that we want it to sound like, why would I waste my time that I could be getting a better performance from the actors or actually filming this shot way better
Gotcha.
on the day of instead of wasting my time having to allocate time to that? And it's the same thing with like color. Like we shoot a very, very flat profile.
Right.
And so when I get there, I can have 6, 7, 8 different colored versions of the film, and every single one of them would look different. And it's because of the way I shoot day of. So I don't sacrifice anything physical in there. The film and the shots that we get, the angles and everything, there's no post. You have to do it there. If the camera's shaking, the camera's shaking. If it's steady, it's steady.
Right.
But the color, the sound,
Those are things. Yeah.
those are all things post. Like every little detail. And I pay attention to every little detail.
Yeah.
I showed her once
You do.
Yes.
my Pro Tools log
God.
Right.
that had all the different Foley sounds for every single scene in one movie, and she was like, "Does that say 250?" Yeah, that's just for that one 30-second scene.
Dang.
Oh,
And it's like, I mean, super meticulous. But you got to know what you're doing with that. Like no
You do.
no real indie filmmaker is going to go and say like,
Nope,
yeah, I'm going to spend a ton of money hiring a Foley artist because they're expensive.
Yeah.
And so I'm lucky that I know audio because that was when I started.
Started with, yep.
And I wanted to do orchestration recording for film, and that's kind of where it barreled down.
Right. That's that focus really well. You know that
Yeah.
that part really well. That's amazing. So, is there anywhere to see Pumpkin now, or is it you still in the festivals and stuff like that? Is there?
So right now it's out in our YouTube channel.
Okay.
The link will be open, but we're gonna have to put it on an unlisted soon because of festivals. They don't want it out in public.
Right.
But whoever has the link will be able to watch it still.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
right now it's there. It's out in public, but it's gonna
out in public.
gonna go on unlisted until at least after the festivals.
Okay.
That we put them in.
and then
Yep.
anything coming up now in the future that you guys coming up with? I know you've been busy with some other stuff, right?
Yes. So we're getting ready to.
Redo.
So fun fact.
Oh, I like
So
fun
our
facts.
very first short as a film was kind of just like a, hey, let me
Tester.
prove to you this one that you can do it for no money, right?
Oh.
And so that's actually a friend of mine who's not an actress, and she just did a couple of scenes with me, and it's actually Ryan as the monster in Bliss. And so we were actually thinking about it because a lot of our films kind of came out of this like just super fast, and we kind of didn't have the whole concept fleshed out. And so now that we've kind of perfected and we got everything that we want, we're actually going to remake Bliss.
Okay.
Nice.
A little more gorier, a little more crazier, a little more bigger than what it is.
Yep.
And we're going to redo that whole kind of the
The-
original concept of the trilogy
Yeah.
for that, the anthology.
The anthology.
Yeah. So Bliss is an anthology, and we started with 5 different stories.
Okay.
Oh.
And they all, connect together by one aspect.
Gotcha.
But
Interesting.
now it's still the same idea with what we're going to do next, except we're going to redo Bliss 1 to something else that we thought of would make it better.
Okay.
And then Eli is another part of the anthology, and then there's Bliss 2, I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
So there's now 3 instead of 5.
Okay.
Kind of like the El Mariachi trilogy, where like
Yeah.
the first Mariachi is a completely different thing, and then all of a sudden the next 2 came out.
Right.
So,
So is it going to be
kind of like that.
like a short or more of a feature type of?
So Bliss is going to be a short.
Okay.
But it's an anthology.
And then
It's
Eli's going to
anthology.
be almost feature length.
Okay.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
then Bliss 2 will be feature.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when you add all 3 of them together, it's
They make one big
feature.
One big,
Yeah.
okay.
One big-
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking, but I wasn't sure. Okay.
Yeah, because they're all going to kind of tie. They're all going to go back to back to back to back with
Gotcha.
each other. So like, we're not going to. You can watch them stand alone, but then you're really supposed to watch them
All
one
together.
after the
Oh,
other.
one after
because
the
they
other.
all interconnect with each other.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And-
Interesting.
Anywhere we can see those? Anybody can see those yet? Or are those still under?
Bliss is out on our YouTube, and so is Nell.
The original version.
Yeah, the original version of Bliss and the
Okay.
original version of Nell is on there.
Good.
So
Good.
watch it now because it's going to go away.
Yeah, it's away, so
And
got a few months.
Yeah.
you're going to AFM, right, Mary?
Mhm.
I am.
Yes.
I'm going next week.
Yeah.
So you're very excited about that, I assume, to go out there and.
I am. I'm actually like, really excited about going.
Who wouldn't be excited to go to Las
Because it's in
Vegas?
Right.
Just because it's in Vegas.
Just because that's the only reason.
Yeah.
Just excited to go.
I
there
was
just 'cause-
just trying to go out there, convince him that we just needed to go to Vegas because
Yeah.
I know. she
I
just
love
wanted to go.
Vegas.
No, I like Vegas too.
yeah, you guys go play in the film world. I'm gonna go play in the shopping world and the gambling world.
We can't afford to do that.
Yeah, I'll be
No, we
in the
can't right
film
now.
world during the daytime,
Yes.
then fun at night.
So we wish you luck with that going
Yes,
out
we
to
do.
AFM. These films look amazing. We'll give you your socials here shortly in a minute so everybody can go see these. They do really look Hollywood done. I get compliments from the one that you guys did with me, and I know I've
Yeah,
seen
left and
yours,
right
and it's
recently.
just amazing. The acting's amazing, the filming's amazing. It looks amazing. It's
You
just-
two are amazing.
yeah, everybody's amazing. So
Aw.
she is really buttering you up for that next script. Yes.
Buttery up.
Butter it up.
It's just
So-
the beginning of a sales pitch, okay?
Yeah. So, but like, Pumpkin looks amazing,
Yeah,
and the
it's
acting is amazing. I really, I can't say that enough. And I know going out to AFM and stuff like that is
Yeah.
That's big.
It's going to show well.
Yeah.
Whoever you get to talk to out there. So hope you get to
Thanks.
talk to people out there with that. One last question, and then for both of you, and then we'll. I
Wrap
want
it
to
up.
give you your social media sites so everybody can see those before they go away, and then become really even bigger. Then they have to pay for it, right?
Yep.
Right? You got to pay for it when it's on streaming. This question we kind of ask everybody,
Mhm.
and it's what insecurities that you have to overcome in this business. Because I know for myself, I always get the typical one, the imposter syndrome kind of thing. So, is there any insecurities that you have to overcome? It's a creative business.
It's a really good question.
Mhm.
My mother is an artist as well, and it's just like I know I've watched her through all her years of she's a
Amazing.
amazing artist,
Pastel painter.
but I've seen those insecurities back and forth, and then it's me. I'm like, oh, now I'm an artist, and it's you have those insecurities. So are there any things that you have to work through in this business?
I think for me, it's a lot like yours.
Okay.
It's the whole imposter syndrome too, and that you're never going to be good enough to do your stuff too,
Right.
Mhm.
or your stuff is not good enough for everybody else to see. And a lot of times, like working with him, it's I don't know, maybe just because we just work in tandem and we work well together, and I don't have to worry about if it's gonna be good enough.
Right.
But if I'm in other sets, then yes, that's definitely one of the things that I
Worry about a lot.
struggle with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna end up doing in next year.
Right. Well, I mean, I
Be-
completely get that. Like, if it's playing up there and I'm in a festival, I'm sunk down in the seat,
Yeah.
and I'm hiding behind the.
You were sunken last night, and my heart was about to jump out of my
Yeah,
chest.
so it's like you always worry about if it's
Yeah.
going to be received and people are going to like.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because you're putting it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're
For
putting
sure.
yourself out
I-
there.
Putting your baby
struggle-
out there.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle with that now, being a content creator. With my own shit, like I'm like, oh, that
Right.
isn't good enough. Trash.
I know. But I don't want people to be held back by that, because it took me a while to even make my first film. It took me 2 or 3 years to like, nah, I'm not ready yet. It's just, you got to go do it.
Yeah.
So
Mhm. you have to just jump
Just
in and do it.
jump
jumping
in,
into
yeah.
it. Yeah.
I don't-
Anything for you, Albert? I don't want to put you on the spot, but you don't have to,
as everybody was talking, I was like, yeah, I don't have that one.
No.
I really
no.
don't. But what
No, I
I
don't think
have is
so. Yeah,
No.
no,
The
you're
one I have though is after the fact, like that I won't be able to make another one.
Oh.
Like that's
Oh.
my big fear. Like I want it to succeed, and I want people to watch it, but my insecurity comes from the gathering all of it up, where she comes in and helps me out with it. Like that's because I'm a very introverted person, like, and I don't really like making small talk. Like, when you get to know me, like, it's a different story.
Right.
But like, I'm always afraid of not failure, but just like it never going anywhere. Like I know they're good, just
right.
it won't go anywhere, and then I won't be able to make another one.
Yeah.
And so that's where a lot of the fear comes in. That's also where a lot of the drive comes in, because then it makes me
Work even
like,
harder.
okay, how do I one up the other one?
Yeah.
And how do I do it with, while being poor?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
right.
like, well, now I have a money.
Yeah.
Like, so how do I make this
Yeah.
film and make it crazy good?
Yeah.
And I think the insecurity part comes from is anybody gonna watch this like really good film that we did
Right.
Mhm.
past just like the couple hundred people? Like when Piper had 22,000 plays, I was like, damn, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right.
That's
amazing.
incredible.
Like, somebody sees it. And then, but like, part of me is one of those like, all right, I'm gonna make this next one, and then am I gonna be able to make another one
After that.
if people don't watch the next one, right?
Right.
And it's like, and then you start thinking about why didn't they watch the next one, and it spoils down into all that nonsense. But then, in the end of the day, like, as an indie filmmaker, you kind of can't go by that. You got to go by like what the local talent kind of
Mhm.
looks at for you, and then so that helps me out a lot, like getting through it. But it's
Right.
really that. It's not so much am I an imposter? It's more like, am I going to be able to make another
Right.
one?
Absolutely.
Like,
But
I really want to make another one.
it's almost like twofold to you, because you're like, it drives you, but then
Mhm.
it makes you feel like, oh crap, at the same time. So
Yeah, you like start nitpicking everything.
Mhm.
yeah.
But like,
Oh yeah, he does.
yeah, like and for me, it's mostly the visual stuff, like
Yeah.
the color piece. Like,
Yeah.
the workload I'm not insecure about at all. And I know I can pull it off. And so like when we get there, everybody else is looking at me like I'm cross-eyed, and then I do it and they're like, oh, okay, he did it. but like when it comes to like that, like I make the stories, I make the films because I think about like how I was a kid and my mom would take me to the movies every single week.
Yeah.
And when I watched a movie, I was just like, oh, and I was thinking about everything.
Right.
And like now when I do that, I'm like, did I make a movie that makes somebody go, So when like I said something in TIFF, and we're like sitting there and I'm watching people go, like, that's to me, it's like, okay, yeah, I did good.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
can
I
make another
achieved
one.
it.
That
You know what I mean?
justification there.
Yeah, and the biggest thing, I think the big awe for a lot of people is when we said we made that with almost zero money.
Right.
And they're like, what?
And I think that's what gets everybody is when you tell them the budget you had is like
Yeah.
next to nothing. People are like, they look at you with three heads. Like, how did you pull this off?
Literally,
Well, it's like the panel that me and Chris were on. And we were doing for OIF, remember?
Yep.
And then they were asking everybody how much they made the film for. And I never got to say how much I made mine for. And I was just hearing like what everybody spent. And I was looking at it and I'm like, you did you did a decent movie. Like,
Right.
how did you spend that much money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And
for what you're shooting, you shouldn't. Like,
yeah, it's almost
think
like
that throws a lot- that
heartbreaking
scares
because
me.
you're like, I could have done this with that money.
I don't do any of the writing. Ryan does like the actual physical writing part.
Oh, okay.
But we look like when we started doing it, like we look like two nincompoops, like just acting out everything,
Right.
before we put it on the page. And like
Oh, I
it took
get
a
that.
long time for me to like break out of the shell and like, all right, we're gonna act this scene out like we're the actors and what we want.
Yeah.
And then now we sound like two cartoonists, like just sitting there making up characters and voices.
I've listened to them too, right? Like I'd be on the phone with them, and I'm like, "What the fuck are these two doing?"
Mary, you should record it for us.
Well, at least he's got another person. I'll do it here by myself. I'll be all the characters playing in it.
And I think this is probably what feeds the creativity part of the writing too, is because you got two heads working on it, and then
I
if they
know.
get stuck, then they call me. Then I'm like
You got another
the third person,
Yeah.
you know, to break in and push in an idea, and you know that helps with the three of us.
Yeah.
Really, you
Absolutely.
know, putting in the effort to do that, you make that story come out to life.
Absolutely. With all these films, where can they find them for the short period? What's your social medias? Where can we find you?
digits?
Not your digits, you know.
I know.
We don't want them
Fierce
to, no
Orchid.
creepers, but we want
No creepers, please no. So just for the company, it's Fierce Orchid Productions. It's the same thing for Facebook,
Fierce
TikTok,
Orchid Productions.
Instagram, and YouTube. Like just search Fierce Orchid Productions.
Okay.
On
Okay.
OnlyFans, it's only Fierce Orchid.
Yeah, OnlyFans is just Fierce Orchid. And it's not me, it's just him.
That's right.
No wonder the hair's getting grown out now. I get the shtick.
It's
Albert.
all erotic shots of my parents.
That's right.
And I know how Albert can move a camera, so.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's just Fierce Orchid. That's, you know, you'll find us. It's the same name and all across social media. But all of our films are in our YouTube channel.
Awesome. So,
And you'll see the
yes,
very
please,
first one is Pumpkin.
please check out that. Go to the Fierce Orchid Productions. Check out their stuff. Check out their latest one, Pumpkin, because it is going away shortly. So make sure you see that. It's amazing. It's amazing. All their stuff's amazing.
Yes.
It looks good. Really good.
You will not be disappointed in anything that they do.
Congratulations on all your
Yeah.
stuff that you've done so far. I know you guys are going places for sure, 100%.
Just don't get rich and famous yet, please.
Wish.
Just wait on me.
I don't think we know how.
That's right. I know. I
like
I think of that stuff too.
I'd like to soon, but I don't think we know how.
For so
Rich
long.
things.
Right.
We just want to be rich at least.
Right?
At least once in this lifetime.
One time, just one time.
Just once.
And Mary, good luck with everything out in
Yay.
AFM,
Thank you.
the American Film Market out there in Vegas this time.
Yep.
So we
This is the first time I think in Vegas.
yeah.
Yeah. That's exciting.
So we wish you luck with that. Wish you luck with your next projects. Please check them out.
Mhm.
And then check us out too as well, the Horror Comedy Hangout podcast on all streaming platforms on YouTube and the horrorcomedyhangout.com. Thank you, Albert and Mary, once again for
Yes,
joining us.
thank
We
you
really
both.
appreciate it.